A couple of videos ago, I announced that I had to sell my truck to finish my Jeep. Basically, I've got to sell my truck. My dream truck has my dream wheels, low miles. I freaking love this thing, and it's got to hit the road. And I'm pleased to announce she's gone, and I ordered all the stuff I need to finish my Jeep. The problem is, I've got to have a truck. So we've been scouring Facebook Marketplace to find a decent deal.
And you will never find it.
I found a freaking good deal, but there's two problems. It's over 5 hours away, and the guy is fairly sketchy. He doesn't really answer my phone calls, texts that often. But if this is what I think it is, it's way too good of a deal to pass up. I was able to talk Alex into coming with me, driving up there, on the slight chance that this thing is a freaking Dean, and I'll be able to get into a good truck for freaking cheap. We have been driving for over 5 hours, and I'm about ready to lose it. I am so sick of driving. We're like 15 minutes away. I'm getting kind of anxious to see this truck because we've driven all this way for it.
So this is another 6.0 liter Power Stroke, and we've had a couple of them, but there's a couple things that you have to do to the 6.0 for it to be reliable. And the number one thing is head studs, because the head bolts that Ford put in them stretch. So you don't want to buy a 6.0 without head studs. Caleb asked the guy if it had head studs, and he didn't really know.
But he said it's bulletproof, like his dad had it done.
We drove 5 hours on the little chance that it actually is studded. And if it's not, we're gonna be driving home without a truck. And if it is, hopefully it's done right and we get to go home with a truck.
Oh my gosh, there it is right there. It's looking pretty good, honestly. Pretty clean. Checked out the truck. It had a couple more problems than I was thinking, so we negotiated the price down a little bit and we were able to pick it up for a screaming deal. This thing is what you call a diamond in the rough.
Overall, this truck actually runs really good. I'm not worried about the motor making it home. I'm worried about the tires. It looks like the guy already had a blowout and used the spare, so if any other tires blow out, we're kind of screwed. We've got 5 hours of driving. Hopefully she makes it. And if it don't make it, this video's about to get really good.
Well, it's a little after 1 in the morning and I just barely got home. The truck made it. I had to put my AirPods in on the noise cancellation and I could still hear the tires. They are so bad. They are so loud. But I'm so grateful that we made it home safe.
Tomorrow. We got up early this morning and we are on our way into town to grab the steel we need because we're gonna build Alex a custom skid plate.
This piece of steel is our new skid plate. And I know what you're thinking. It's a little thin to be a skid plate. But I decided to go 3/16, and if it gets absolutely roached on the first trip, I'm gonna put a sheet of UHMW on the bottom.
What's UHMW?
UHMW is UHMW, ultra high molecular weight. Hold up. Oh, I was right. Ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. Pretty much, it's a tough plastic. It's really cool because it's pretty strong, it's really lightweight, and it's self-lubricating, so it slides across the rocks. So with this sheet under it and that on top of it, it'll pretty much be a bulletproof skid plate. But for now, this is gonna be it. Once we get this thing marked up and cut up, we're gonna bring it to our buddies in Logan, Utah, and he's gonna help us bend it with his sweet press brake. Piece all marked out. I'm gonna grind the little notch out so I can slide the big piece all the way back so it's flush with the back of the cross member, and then we can start marking our line. This thing's all cut out. It's able to sit flat on my cross members, so we were able to get all the lines marked out, get all the degrees that the bends need to get to. But unfortunately, we don't have the tools to do that here. So we're gonna go to our good old buddy Nate and see if he can help us out. It's heavier than you think. Yeah. I hope this holds up. I hope my truck doesn't squat. Every time we come over here, they have the coolest projects going on.
Whenever we get to the point building these Jeeps where we don't know what we're doing, this is where we come. These guys have been building off-road rigs their whole lives, and they do a lot of racing. These guys have pulled a couple of first places out in the Ultra 4 series, and they finished King of the Hammers a bunch of times. Long story short, these guys know what they're doing when it comes to building off-road rigs.
What do you think of that?
Pretty good for a couple rednecks.
Do you think that thing can bend it?
But it's actually gonna be like.
We'll see.
That looks so freaking good, dude.
Cool. I'm stoked to get the holes cut out and the shape that we want. It's gonna look sick.
What do you think, Braid?
I think for two guys that don't know what they're doing, done pretty good.
That's what I think, too.
Our buddies at Crossfire Off-Road have built some of the nicest rigs out there. They're in the process of building Post Malone's Bronco. They were a part of the 6x6 Velociraptor build. They build most of BFG's event vehicles. There's a lot of sketchy shops out there, but these guys are not one of them. They're honest, hardworking, they do the best work. We've brought our Jeeps here plenty of times. They're located in northern Utah, so if you're anywhere close by and you want work done to your Jeep, whether it's a lift kit or a full-on turnkey build, make sure to hit up Crossfire Off-Road. Their information is in the description. Right, what do you think the chances are that my lines were actually perfect?
How many times did you measure?
One per mark.
Yeah, I'll probably be off. If that thing's off, that's gonna suck.
What do you think, Cade?
Yeah, they're off for sure.
I think that thing's gonna plop right in place and be perfect.
Well, we're gonna see here in a minute.
Pick that thing up.
That thing's heavy.
She gonna fit?
Here we go.
Come on, baby.
Here we go.
Come on, baby. Oh, jeez. Dude.
How nice is it?
Oh my gosh.
Dude, that thing like clicks into place.
That's how I built it. Wow, look at that.
Pretty freaking close.
Dude, that looks sick.
Dude, that looks so sick.
Holy.
The cool thing about this thing too is we're gonna be able to drill 2 holes and mount it here so that thing could never spread. It's really gonna strengthen this cross member up.
So what's next?
We gotta get this thing mounted to the frame. The plan is we're gonna take and cut the edge off here, put a nice thick piece of steel across the side, weld that seam so it bolts on the sides instead of on the bottom. So when this frame tweaks and moves and jiggles, I don't know, I think it's gonna probably jiggle somewhat. It'll make it so when we take that cross member off, we're gonna be able to get it back on, because we'll just throw a jack underneath, jack it up into place, throw the bolts through, and we're dialed.
Oh, hey, we got problems.
Yeah, our piece isn't long enough.
What are we
I'm
gonna...
glad this one's the screw-up piece.
Yeah, no kidding.
I got an idea though. So if we just go to here and taper this back, then we miss the link. We don't have to cut out for that, and I think it'll work great.
So it is gonna work.
Yeah.
A few moments later.
Alex has got this whole thing cut out, dialed, he made these new pieces. Now all we gotta do is do what we do best and lay some bubble gum.
Well guys, that was a pretty good week, I'm not gonna lie. I got a ton done on this frame. I finished my fish plate, I put a hitch in the bumper, I made gussets for my cross members, we made a skid plate that turned out so good. And Caleb bought a pretty good truck. It's actually been a ding. So I'd say that was a pretty good week for us.
Next week is a huge week for Brady's Jeep.
We should have the lower links bolted up to the axles to the frame. I can't even wait for this.
That's huge.
going on next week.
Thank you so much for watching Peck Brothers
Off-road.